In this tutorial, we're going to create our first Python program, and we're going to be able to run it and see how everything works. The first thing I want to do is open up PyCharm. So PyCharm was the IDE, the integrated development environment that we downloaded in the last tutorial. So I'm just going to go ahead and search for it on my computer, and I can just open it up. And when we first open up PyCharm, we should basically just get a window prompting us to create a project. So you can see that down here. Actually, the first thing I want to do though is come over here to configure, and I'm just gonna click on preferences, and I actually want to change the appearance. So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a theme. So I just went over here to appearance and behavior, appearance, and I'm gonna change the theme to Darkula, just because I think it's a little bit easier to use and look at. But you don't have to do that if you don't want to. And so down here, I'm just going to click Create New Project, and it's going to give us this little window right here, so I can just name my project, and I'm just going to name this Draft. And then there's this other option down here where it says Interpreter. Now, what we want to select is Python version 3. So if I click down here, you'll notice that there's a couple different options. So I'm on a Mac computer, and by default, Mac has Python version 2 installed on it. If you're on a Windows machine, I'm not sure if it does, but in this tutorial we're going to be using Python 3. So you want to make sure that you have Python 3 selected as the interpreter. Otherwise, you might not be able to fully follow along with what we're doing in this video. So now I'm just going to come down here and click Create, and this is going to go ahead and create our project for us. Alright, so now we have our Python project up and running. And I want to show you guys how we can create our first Python program. So over here in this draft folder, and this is just that project that we created, I'm just going to right click and I'm going to say new, and I'm going to come down and click Python file. So we want to create a new Python file. This will be our first Python program. And I can just give this a name. So why don't we just call this app, and I'm just going to click OK. Alright, so now we have our first Python file open, and we can just start typing in some Python. So I want to show you guys just a very basic Python program, and this is just going to be a hello world program. So we're just going to print something out onto the screen. So what I want to do is I want to type out print, and I want to type in open and close parentheses. Now inside of this parentheses we can make some quotation marks, and inside of the quotation marks I'm just going to type out hello world. So this is like a very basic Python program, and what this is going to do is it's just going to print out hello world onto the screen. And so now what I can do is I can actually run this file, and we're actually getting a little error here. It wants us to create a new line at the end of the file. And so now in order to run our Python program, I'm just going to come up here to the top, and I'm just going to click run, and we'll click this run button right here, and now we'll see what happens. So it's asking me what I want to run. I can just click app. And down here at the bottom, you'll notice that we have this text that just got printed out, hello world. And so whatever I print, or whatever I put inside of this print statement is going to get printed out down below in the console. So as long as you're getting that print statement to work, then you've actually written your first Python program. And as we go forward in the course, we're going to be writing all sorts of awesome Python programs, and we're going to be doing all sorts of cool stuff. In this tutorial, I want to talk to you about writing a basic Python program. So we're going to write just a very simple Python program. We're going to look at how we can go ahead and write our programs. We're going to talk about how our programs are getting executed by Python, and we're also going to draw out a little shape onto the screen. So this is going to be pretty cool. I'm excited to talk to you guys about just the bare basics of Python and really just sort of give you an introduction. So over here, we have our basic text editor. And so any of the Python code that I write inside of this file is actually going to get executed by Python. So this Python file has a bunch of Python code inside of it. And basically what we're doing when we're programming in Python is we're just giving the computer a set of instructions, right? That's really what programming is. It's just like we're specifying a set of instructions, and the computer is going to go off and execute those instructions that we give it. And so the more complex the instructions we give to the computer, the more complex the tasks the computer can carry out. So I want to show you guys how we can use some Python instructions or some Python code in order to draw out a shape onto the screen. So I'm actually going to draw out a little triangle. So over here, we can actually print something out onto the screen in Python using something called a print statement. So I can just type out print, and inside of these parentheses, I can just type some quotation marks, and inside the quotation marks, we can put whatever we want to print out onto the screen. So I'm gonna copy this, and I'm actually gonna make a few of these little print statements. And we're gonna actually draw a shape. So we're gonna draw like a triangle type shape. So down here, I'm just gonna draw a forward slash, and then up here, I'll make a space, and we'll do another forward slash. Here, we'll make 2 spaces, we'll do another forward slash, and over here, we're gonna make 3 spaces and a forward slash. And now I'm gonna draw like vertical bars going all the way down. And actually, we can do some underscores here as well. That'd be kind of cool. All right, so now we have our triangle looking shape, and you can see it looks kind of like a right triangle. So I can save my file, and I can either come up here to run and click run app, or if you're using PyCharm, you can also just come over here and click this play button. And when I click the play button, I want you to notice what happens down here. So down here, we have this little window, and this is called the console. And basically, the console is just a place where Python is going to output some information. So when we use this print statement, we're basically telling Python, like, hey, can you print something out onto the console? So there's a lot of situations where we're going to want to see what's going on in our code. And we can use that print statement and print things out to the console, and we can basically like have a little window into what our program's doing. In our case, we're just going to be printing out this triangle onto the console. So I'm going to come over here and click this play button, and you'll see down here we're actually printing out that triangle. So mission accomplished, we were able to print out our shape. So I could really draw any shape I wanted as long as I was able to specify it inside of these print statements. And so essentially what Python's doing when I click that play button is it's going into this file and it's looking at all of these instructions in order. So the first thing it does is it goes to this instruction and it says, okay, they want me to draw out these like little forward slash and this vertical bar onto the screen. Once it does that, it goes down to this instruction. It says, okay, they want me to print something out again. When it prints that out, it goes down to this instruction, etc. So Python is actually going to execute the lines of code that we write in order. So the order in which I write the instructions matters a lot. So for example, if I was to take this last line here and put it up here at the top, now when I save the file, instead of just drawing out that triangle, it's going to draw out this little upside down bottom thing at the top and then the rest of the triangle down here. So the order of the instructions actually matters a lot. And so this is basically how your Python programs are going to go. As we go through this course, we're going to learn more and more of these little lines. So here we're just using this little print function. Basically, it just prints something out onto the screen. There's a bunch of little things like this that we can learn, and as we go through, we'll learn more and more instructions that we can give to the computer. But in this lesson, I just want to kind of show you guys the basics, right? We can essentially just define these little instructions for the computer, and the computer will execute them in order.